This was enemy territory. But now American soldiers chat casually with former foes. It's a marriage of convenience. Nationalist Iraqi insurgents, once fiercely anti-American, are now siding with US forces to battle al-Qaeda.
They ruled Baathists with tyranny. They really harmed our town, so we had to stop them, and they left. No return.
These three gunmen are all members of what is now called the Neighbourhood Watch. All three say that they're active members of the 1920s Brigades, a nationalist insurgent faction that until 3 months ago was fighting against the Americans. This is Diyala province, 40 miles north of Baghdad. These men say they drove al-Qaeda out of their hometown Burut after a week-long battle in April. The leader of this neighbourhood points out the wreckage of war. He leads me to a small weapons store and explains that his men cut a deal with the Americans that they would not patrol with their Kalashnikov rifles in daylight hours. But in case of an al-Qaeda attack, they say they still retain heavier weapons, like these machine guns and rocket-propelled grenades, the very weapons they used in this firefight against US forces back in October 2004. Regional Commander General Benjamin Mixon confirms US forces are cultivating an alliance with former anti-American factions and Iraqi civilian groups in the fight against al-Qaeda. Will the assistance or the coordination with these former insurgent groups extend to arming them or helping them out in logistics in any sense?
It certainly will. We've seen this in counterinsurgency operations before, using local nationals, if you will, arming them, forming them into scouts, if you will. And that's the primary role that we want to use them in. They know the territory, they know the enemy.
Captain Ben Richards is the US officer putting General Mixon's policy into practice in Burut. This man, known as Abu Ali, is his key ally. He says he was never an insurgent, but was an officer in Saddam Hussein's feared military intelligence unit. Now he's coordinating the backlash by nationalist insurgents and other local citizens against al-Qaeda. That means staying in constant communication with American forces.
How much was it for the radios?
Right down to providing Captain Richards with walkie-talkies.
If we go in with the mindset that every one of these persons has tried to kill an American, I think you're just setting yourself up. At first, I don't think that's true, though in many cases it may be true. But you're setting yourself up for a picture or a mindset that's not going to be productive either for us or for the or for the Iraqi people.
The unlikely alliance appears to be scoring some remarkable successes. In streets where US soldiers just weeks ago had to fight every step, they can now stroll at sundown without fear of attack.
How are you?
Before, when al-Qaeda was here, it was all killing and stealing. We would hide in our houses at this time of day. It was all kidnapping, killing, and stealing.
For Abu Ali, there's more in this new alliance than just combating the extremism of al-Qaeda. He hopes it will hasten the end of what he regards as the US occupation.
After we are done with al-Qaeda, we will ask the Americans to pull out of Iraq. If they do not withdraw, there will be violations and the American army will be harmed. Especially after the help they have provided us, we would like them to go home as our friend, not enemy.